Okay, picture this. A city just soaked in thousands of years of history. Ancient walls, echoes of empires, the Silk Road, and suddenly it's the backdrop for this intense, modern, intellectual showdown. That's where we're heading today. We're diving straight into well, the electric atmosphere of top-tier chess competition. We're talking about moves where every single piece placement, every decision, it carries enormous weight.
Yeah, not just for the game itself, but like for their whole careers, right?
Yeah.
Their shot at chess history.
Exactly. We're zeroing in on the FIDE Grand Swiss 2025. And FIDE, for anyone maybe less familiar, that's the International Chess Federation, the main body for the sport globally.
Right.
And this tournament, it's not just another competition. It's a crucial stepping stone. It feeds directly into the 2026 candidates tournament.
Which is the big one, the qualifier to challenge for the World Championship title itself.
Precisely. And it's happening right now, September 4th to the 15th, in this just incredibly historic city, Samarkand, in Uzbekistan.
Amazing setting.
So our goal here in this deep dive is to unpack some of the most gripping moments we've seen so far. There have been some big surprises, some real upsets.
Oh, yeah.
And we want to explore what it all signifies for competitive chess, where the game is heading.
It's fascinating, isn't it, how one event in a place like Samarkand, so specific and rich with history, just becomes this global magnet for ambition and strategy.
Yeah.
It really is a crucible for champions. You get the best players from everywhere converging there. And the city itself, it almost feels like this ancient, silent witness to these modern clashes of intellect.
Totally agree. The setting isn't just like pretty wallpaper. It feels significant. Samarkand, UNESCO World Heritage Site, that Silk Road legacy. It gives this incredibly fitting, almost sort of poetic stage for such a tough mental battle. You can almost imagine the players feeling that weight of history, sitting there, knowing one wrong move could change everything for them.
Absolutely. The atmosphere must be something else. And beyond just the historical vibe, the stakes are incredibly high. This isn't just about FIDE or ranking points.
No.
The top two finishers in both the open section and the women's section, they get that golden ticket. Direct entry into the candidates. That's the final hurdle before a shot at the World Championship match.
That just ramps up the intensity like crazy, doesn't it? When every single game could literally define your path forward.
It really does.
And we should definitely talk about the money this year, too. The prize fund is pretty substantial. We're looking at $855,000 total.
Wow.
Yeah, that breaks down to $625,000 for the open and a really significant $230,000 for the women's section.
That's a serious amount.
And what's really telling, I think, is the jump from previous years. It's up 36% for the open, and get this, 64% for the women's section.
64%, that's huge. That really signals something about the growth and professionalization of the women's game, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That kind of financial backing, it shows a real commitment. It makes these tournaments not just about the glory, but about, a high-stakes, viable career path.
You nailed it there with professionalization.
Yeah.
That bigger prize pot, plus that clear route to the candidates, it just makes this tournament incredibly desirable and incredibly intense.
Yeah.
It pushes the competition because players aren't just fighting for a title, they're fighting for their future, their livelihood, in a way. That acknowledgement of the skill and effort involved, it just forces everyone to bring their absolute A game.
Right. But, okay, beyond the grand setting and the prize money, the real drama, of course, is happening on the 64 squares. And we saw a moment just recently in the 5th round that really sent a shockwave through the whole event.
I know the one you mean.
September 9th.
Yeah.
Pretty seismic upset. German Grandmaster Matthias Bluebaum took down India's top seed, Praggnanandhaa.
Yeah, Prag.
And it wasn't just a win. It felt like a masterful dismantling of a global chess superstar by someone who's just hitting peak form.
That was absolutely a key moment in the tournament so far. Praggnanandhaa, he's only 20. This incredible talent, India's #1 seed, known for just razor-sharp tactics and, frankly, fearless play.
Definitely.
He had the black pieces in that game, went for a slightly offbeat queen's pawn opening against Bluebaum. And Bluebaum, maybe a bit older, maybe less of a household name internationally,
Right.
has been playing out of his mind. That win against Prag was his 3rd straight victory after starting with 2 draws. It really cemented him as a dangerous player here, maybe a dark horse.
And the way Bluebaum won, his precision in the middle game was just, textbook. He didn't just pounce on one mistake from Pragg. It was more like he slowly tightened the screws, you know?
Exactly. He constructed Pragg's pieces,
Yeah.
turned what looked like a pretty balanced position into this inescapable bind. It wasn't like one big tactical blunder that lost the game.
No.
It was more like a gradual strategic strangulation. It just ground down Pragg's position until it collapsed. It's such a powerful reminder, isn't it? In chess, raw talent is one thing, but that sustained strategic nerve under pressure, that's often what wins these tough games.
Absolutely. And that upset, it's more than just a great result for Bluebaum. It tells us something important about chess right now, doesn't it?
For sure. It highlights the incredible depth of talent out there globally and the sheer unpredictability. It keeps the game so exciting.
Yeah.
No player, doesn't matter how high their rating is or how famous they are, can afford to be even slightly off their game. It just shows every single match is a potential minefield or a potential moment of glory. That's why these events are just so gripping to follow.
In Pragg's loss, while it definitely made headlines, it's really just one thread in this much bigger, really fascinating story coming out of India at this tournament.
Oh, absolutely.
What we're seeing isn't just one or two stars. It's like this powerful wave of Indian chess talent. A real renaissance, you could say.
Definitely a renaissance.
Look at Arjun Erigaisi. He had this commanding win against Nikita Vityugov, the Russian GM, who now plays for Switzerland.
Strong player, Vityugov.
Yeah, and Erigaisi just controlled the game. His aggressive style, you can tell he prepares deeply. That win kept him right up there with the leaders, 4 points out of 5 at that stage. His game was a real lesson in how to milk small advantages, just slowly squeezing until there's nothing left.
And the sheer number of Indian players there, the quality, it's not just a fluke, is it? It points to something bigger, maybe better grassroots development, a cultural shift. It feels like a major change in the global chess hierarchy.
Yeah, feels like it.
It's making chess incredibly exciting to watch right now. And then there was the world champion himself, Gukesh. He actually lost a game, surprisingly, to Abhimanyu Mishra.
The young American GM, right? Youngest ever.
That's the one.
Yeah.
16 years old. And what's really interesting there is Gukesh, being the current world champion, he didn't have to play in the Grand Swiss. He's already qualified for the candidates, obviously.
Right. So why play?
Well, maybe to stay sharp, test himself. But taking that loss, even if it doesn't affect his candidate spot, it's a rare stumble for him. It just underlines how brutal this tournament is. The depth of talent is just, wow, anyone can beat anyone on a given day.
That's fascinating, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gukesh choosing to play, knowing the risks. What does that say about the champion's mindset? Especially with, 15 Indian players there in total, 11 men, 4 women. It's this huge presence building on that legacy of Viswanand.
It says a lot, I think. Champions like Gukesh, they're not just resting on their laurels. They're constantly pushing, testing themselves, refining their game, even at the absolute peak.
Yeah.
So that loss, while maybe surprising to us, for him, it's probably just beta, a learning opportunity. That's what makes him great, right? That constant drive to improve.
Makes sense.
And yeah, the sheer number of strong Indian players is undeniable. It's a massive shift in the global power balance in chess. And we see it in the women's section, too.
Yeah.
Vaishali, Pragg's sister, actually. She held a really important draw against Katerina Lagno, who's playing under the FIDE flag, a very strong, experienced Russian player.
So Vaishali's doing well.
Very well. That draw kept her right there in the joint lead with 4 points, alongside Dinara Wagner from Germany and Uvia Fatalieva from Azerbaijan. Vaishali's showing real composure, real strategic depth. She's definitely a strong contender for one of those 2 women's candidate spots. It just further emphasizes India's strength across the board.
So it's clear this tournament isn't just, a few disconnected games. It's designed to be a real grind, a mental marathon.
Oh, absolutely.
It's an 11-round Swiss system format, which means basically players get paired against others with similar scores round after round.
Yeah, so the competition gets tougher the better you do. You're constantly facing players who are also in good form.
It guarantees this grueling test of not just skill, but stamina, strategy, consistency. It's just relentless, isn't it?
It truly is. And you can't underestimate the psychological wear and tear of that format. Plus, the time control is incredibly demanding.
Right. How does that work again?
It's 100 minutes for the first 40 moves, then another 50 minutes for the next 20 moves, and then just 15 minutes for the rest of the game.
Okay.
But crucially, you get a 30-second increment added to your clock after every single move, right from move one.
Ah, the increment. So that helps a bit in time pressure.
It helps avoid losing purely on time in simple positions, but it still means you're constantly managing this complex clock situation alongside the board. It creates this extra layer where sometimes, making a decent move quickly is better than spending too long searching for the perfect move and getting into time trouble.
So it adds another layer of psychological pressure.
Exactly. It's not enough to be brilliant on the board. You have to be resilient, manage your time, analyze for hours, calculate variations, stay sharp move after move, day after day.
Yeah, the pressure has to be immense. We saw glimpses even early on, didn't we? Like, even Gukesh, despite starting well, felt the heat. One slip, one loss, and your chances of qualifying for the candidates can just evaporate.
Every half point matters desperately.
Even back in round one, you saw signs. Gukesh won, Gujarati won, Vaishali, who actually won the Women's Grand Swiss in 2023.
Defending champion, yeah.
She held her own. But even top seeds like Praggnanandhaa got held to a draw right away by Jeffrey Sean from the U.S. It was clear from the start that nobody was going to have an easy time.
No free points in this field.
So with all that intensity, all these individual stories playing out, the big question is who's actually navigated this mental minefield the best so far? Who's leading the pack as we cross the halfway point?
Well, it's tight, as you'd expect.
Yeah, it looks like a real race heading into the second half. Every game from here on out is just critical.
Okay, so in the open section, the leader right now, after 5 rounds, is Iran's Param Muksudlu. He's on a fantastic 4.5 points out of 5.
Impressive start.
Very impressive, including a really key win with the black pieces against Richard Rapoport, the strong Hungarian GM. Muksudlu looks like he's really back to his best, finding that great mix of tactics and positional play.
And who's chasing him?
Well, right behind him, it's a logjam on 4 points. You've got Arjun Erigaisi, Matthias Bluebaum, the guy who beat Abhimanyu Mishra, the young American, and Uzbekistan's own Nodirbek Abdusadarov.
Wow, quite a pack, so it's still wide open.
Absolutely. Any of those guys could make a run. And in the women's section, as we mentioned, our Vaishali is sharing the lead. She's got 4 points, tied with Germany's Dinara Wagner and Azerbaijan's Ulvia Fatelieva.
So Vaishali's draw against Lugno was crucial then.
Very crucial. It kept her right there at the top. She navigated a really tricky middle game in that one, showed real resilience to secure the half point. It sets things up for a very exciting finish in the women's event, too.
Okay, so 6 rounds still to go. Anything can happen, really. More upsets are almost guaranteed, I'd imagine.
Oh, for sure. As fatigue sets in, as the pressure mounts towards the end, that's when you often see unexpected results.
Yeah. The ability to just keep performing, stay consistent in those later rounds after days and days of this intense mental combat, that's often what separates the players who qualify from everyone else, isn't it?
Absolutely. It tests the complete player. Skill, nerves, stamina, everything. Who can maintain that momentum when things get really tough? That's the million-dollar question, or maybe the $855,000 question here.
Right. So that brings us towards the end of our deep dive for today on the FIDE Grand Swiss 2025. What an incredible tournament it's shaping up to be.
Really has been great so far.
Yeah, full of drama, those big upsets we talked about, new talents making their mark, and just incredibly fierce competition, all unfolding in that amazing setting of Samarkand. I think what this Grand Swiss really highlights is how modern top-level chess, with its packed schedule and this diverse, deep talent pool, it seems to favor more than just calculation, right? It's like this blend of psychological toughness and being able to adapt your strategy constantly.
That's a great point. It's maybe less about always finding the absolute perfect computer-approved move and more about consistently finding good enough moves, practical moves, under immense pressure and time constraints.
Exactly. That resilience factor seems huge.
And look, if you want to follow the rest of the action unfold, you absolutely can. There's live coverage, expert commentary online. The games typically start at 3:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time for rounds up to 10.
Okay.
And then the final round, that's on September 15th, starts a bit earlier at 2:30 p.m. IST. So you really can have a front row seat as it all plays out.
Definitely worth tuning in, whether you're, a serious chess player yourself or just curious about what makes this ancient game so enduringly fascinating. We've seen again how just one move can shift everything. It can change reputations, launch careers.
Yeah.
It kind of leaves you wondering, doesn't it, how many challenges in our own lives might actually benefit from that same kind of careful thought, that strategic foresight we see over the chessboard.
Interesting thought to end on.
Well, we hope this chat has given you a bit more insight and maybe a new appreciation for the complex, high-stakes world of competitive chess.